Our topic for this week, and our final topic for the course, is the concept of posthumanism and the posthuman body. You may remember that we already briefly discussed the concept of posthumanism at the beginning of the semester, when we were examining theories of the mind-body split. As a reminder, posthumanism is the idea that the next stage of human evolution will involve the human body moving beyond the purely organic to a fusion of the organic, in other words, the biological, physiological, and anatomical, with the technological and the synthetic. This fusion can encompass anything from gene editing, prosthetic limbs, mechanical or bioengineered organs, and various kinds of synthetic body modifications, to transferring human consciousness out of the human body and into alternate vessels such as microchips, android bodies, cyborg bodies, or bioengineered organic bodies. Posthumanism is a concept that first developed in the latter half of the 20th century. In the beginning, it was only the stuff of the theoretical branches of science, medicine, engineering, and computing, as well as popular science fiction stories. However, as we have made advances in technology and medicine, posthumanism is fast becoming the stuff of reality. Indeed, in the past 3 decades, there have been a proliferation of both implanted devices and prosthetic devices used to augment the human body that have become quite commonplace, and others that are still in the development phases, but that will be available during our lifetimes. For example, we now think about both eyeglasses and contact lenses as either being low-tech or no-tech devices. But eyeglasses for the purposes of augmenting vision are one of the first and one of the oldest examples of a prosthetic device, something wearable that can be attached and removed from the body, and that is used to either enhance or supplement the human body by adding an inorganic component to it. Prosthetic limbs are another example that have been around for centuries, though as technology has advanced, both the material used to construct prosthetic limbs and the way that those prosthetics augment body function have evolved. This has included the increasing mechanization of prosthetic limbs, often involving microprocessors, as well as prototypes now in the development stages that combine prosthetics with implanted devices that allow the limbs to be controlled through electrodes attached to either the nerve endings in the remaining part of the limb or in the brain. There are also a whole range of other electronic or mechanical prosthetics, including hearing aids, insulin pumps and continuous glucose monitors, myoregulators, which are used to reduce muscle spasticity in individuals with conditions like cerebral palsy, multiple sclerosis, and Parkinson's disease, and the Argus 2 system glasses that can restore vision for those with retinitis pigmentosa. There are also non-medical prosthetic devices used to augment the human body, such as virtual reality goggles and other VR gaming devices, earbuds, Bluetooth devices, and Fitbits. At the same time, there are a whole range of implantable devices used to augment the human body. Unlike prosthetics that are worn outside of the body and are removable, these devices are permanently placed inside the body. They include everything from cosmetic devices such as breast implants to medical devices such as pacemakers, cochlear implants, and the replacement joints used in hip, knee, and shoulder replacements. They also include mechanical or technical replacements for organic body parts that are damaged or that experience failures in function. For example, the first mechanical heart was successfully implanted into a human body for the first time in 1982. More recent experimentation in developing synthetic organs has been done with 3D printing, a technology also already in use to make prosthetic limbs. Finally, manifestations of the post-human include technological interventions into the body for therapeutic purposes. Examples of this include artificial insemination, regenerative tissue growth, and gene editing, all of which can be used to rewrite the human genetic code, replicate and replace parts of the human body, or create human life. Other examples include pharmaceutical treatments, such as the targeted gene therapies used for the treatment of certain cancers, and the mRNA vaccines developed to provide immunity against COVID-19 infection. Significantly, while prosthetics and implants augment an already existing human body in some way, technologies such as this make it possible to either generate human beings and human bodies outside of the natural method, or else to fundamentally alter the genetic makeup of the human body to something other than its naturally occurring combination of genomes. And, as a result, they have been the subject of a great deal of ethical, theological, and legal debate, as well as social and political clashes. On the one hand, these biotechnologies hold a great deal of potential and promise. For example, allowing people who cannot conceive to have biological offspring, extending life and/or restoring health for individuals diagnosed with diseases that were once terminal, or providing a potential means of either preventing or curing debilitating genetic conditions with profound impacts on both physical health and overall quality of life. On the other hand, though, they simultaneously raise concerns about their potential misuses, as well as raising existential questions about both the ways and the extent to which the human body can be altered before it is no longer human. All of these examples that have been discussed so far are places where we already see the blending of the organic human body with technological, synthetic, or inorganic components in ways that simultaneously alter and expand what we think of as the normal and the extraordinary when it comes to the human body. And, as the examples of bioengineering suggest, these developments are all likewise causing us as a culture to rethink the way that we conceive of normal bodies and extraordinary bodies, as well as the way that we differentiate between such bodies. But it is also forcing us to rethink the way that we define the human, as well as how we differentiate between the human and the inhuman. As we have seen throughout the semester in our study of the connections between the body and the self, the way that we understand and conceive of human identity has changed over time. It also varies between different cultures. However, there are two criteria that have remained more or less consistent from the ancient world onwards. First, human beings are defined by their awareness of their existence, as well as their awareness of their identity, the fact that they exist as a self separate from other individuals. It is this ability to reflect on their existence, achieve self-actualization, remember their past, learn from their mistakes, make personal changes, etc., that separate human beings from other living beings such as animals and other forms of organic life such as plants. Second, human beings are also defined by their physical form, which is different from the physical forms of all other terrestrial life. They are also defined by the condition of embodiment, through which the self, the consciousness, the soul, or the spiritual essence, however it is defined and whatever term is used to name it, is contained within and animates that physical form. The concept of posthumanism, as explored in much science fiction literature and media, has focused on exploring the implications of technological developments that unsettle these two cultural divisions between the human and the not human, raising profound and, in some cases, troubling questions about how such developments call into question the way that we understand both what it is and what it means to be human. For example, if inorganic constructs like robots or AI can achieve sentience, awareness of their own existence, then does that make them human? If inorganic constructs become inorganic beings because they have achieved sentience and they develop the ability to hope, dream, desire, form emotional bonds, or recall and reflect on memories of their past experiences, then do they have an individual self, a consciousness, a soul? And if that's possible, does that make them human? Does it make organic human beings less human, or just less unique in terms of these things? Finally, if organic human bodies can be augmented through inorganic components, then at what point do they switch from human bodies to something else? Is a body that is partially organic and partially inorganic still a human body if it started out 100% organic? What if it started out 100% inorganic? Likewise, if a human body is connected to a machine through a neural interface, is the consciousness housed in that body still human? Or is it now a machine? Can it even still be considered to be housed in that body if it can be transferred outside of it? All of these issues are at the center of both the story told in the 2013 TV series Almost Human and the themes explored in that series. The first 2 episodes of the series are our assigned viewing for this week, and part of our discussion will focus on where we see examples of these issues explored in the show. The other part of our discussion will focus on another common theme in sci-fi literature and media that examine the concept of posthumanism and the posthuman body, and that is also incorporated into Almost Human. This is the way in which such stories also often draw on the concept of social stigma, extraordinary bodies, and bodies that matter, to represent individuals with posthuman bodies as members of a marginalized social group who experience discrimination and or oppression based on their status as either not human or not purely human. In this way, we will be ending the course by extending our semester-long examination of the ways in which our cultural understandings of individual identity are connected to the body, by considering the ways in which both the body and individual identity also factor into our cultural understandings of both what it is and what it means to be human.